Okay, we've got both seals and the bearing installed, and it looks real good. So this bearing housing is now ready to install on the tractor. You can see the seals, the double seals from this side, and then the bearing cup down below it. This operation could of course be done on a shop press if you got either a nice hydraulic press or a rack and pinion type dake press. That can be done that way. I do not happen to have it, and that's why I'm showing you the alternate way here. Now we're getting ready to put this bearing onto the axle of the tractor, and we're going to shrink fit that on there. Or I shouldn't say shrink fit, we're going to install it by shrinking it on. We're back to the axle. Now all of this area here where the bearing rise has been scrupulously cleaned with emery cloth and polished, so it's very clean and ready to go. And our bearing is on a little laboratory hot plate. Now you can heat it up other ways too, but we want to heat it up to about between 400 and 500 degrees. Certainly not any hotter than that where you'll ruin the heat treat on it. And then it will slide right on up to the shoulder. And you're going to do that very fast because the heat gets sucked out of it tremendously fast, and you don't have a second chance for this. So have a brass punch and a brass hammer handy if you do have to tap on it. But you want to try to do it all in one fell swoop. The hot plate will expand this about 1,000th or so. I haven't really measured it, but you can also heat this up in the oven, or certainly don't use a torch. There just isn't any good way to draw that on, and I don't want to pound it on. You might have a better way, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, here I come with the hot bearing, and make sure you put it on and facing out. And here we go, too hot to touch, and it goes all the way in. I'm tapping it. My heart is beating fast. It's all the way to the shoulder. And that is done. It already would have shrunk down too much to pull off now. The shrinking takes place very quickly because this mass of cold steel, it's 50 degrees in here today, just sucks the heat out of there just like that. So you don't have much time to work. We're going to do the same thing now with this sleeve. You see how tight that is, and it won't go on that surface at all. I'm going to heat that up now. I'm going to oil this again here and put that on. Okay, I'm putting my gloves on, and here we come with the seal sleeve. All the way against it. Take my brass punch, never steel, and tap it in there. And you know, you couldn't get it off there now if you had to. And within moments you're going to be able to touch that, all the heat. You know, already, that was sizzling hot a moment ago, and a good part of the heat is out of that now. All right, my heart is still beating fast. And now we are ready for really the easy part, and that's the reassembly of the whole tractor. This was the hard part and kind of the scary part because you're dealing with expensive parts here. Remember, new bearings must be treated with the greatest of care. We'll lubricate everything with 90 weight, including the seals, when we put that housing on. All right, I'm ready to put the bearing housing on, and there are 3 metal spacers here and 2 paper gaskets, 1 paper gasket on each side. Don't lose any of these. I did have to make a new paper gasket. There was one that was damaged. Notice how I have run duct tape over the shaft because of that keyway. So whenever you got a spline or a keyway, you got to protect the seals from being cut. So everything is lubricated now. I use 90 weight on the bearing and on that sleeve and inside of the housing here. So let's see if we can get that on. Now we're pulling it onto The need 3 hands right now. We got to lift the axle up a little bit with our hip, slide that in, and see if we can get that first bolt started. Where's my wife when I need her? Okay, we got a bolt started on the top, and I see everything kind of slipping out of here, so we got to line that up and get the other bolt started. So I'm going to stop for a moment and go ahead and do that. I've got all the bolts started, and notice that I had a witness mark there before, so I put everything back the same way that I took it apart. I tried to. It helps to have it forward. Draw them all up. Throw away this tape. I hope I didn't give you too much detail on this, but I am a detail man, and the devil is in the details. I'm going to torque these and off camera, and then I'm ready to put the wheel and tire back on, and then I am ready to add the oil and check for leaks. Remember, this is where it leaked to start with, around the seal right here, and it was enough to make quite a mess. So I did fix it on the other side, and it doesn't leak, and we are going to hope that this doesn't leak. So now I'll torque these. I just put the hub back on, and I spent quite a bit of time cleaning the bore, and I had to take the key out of there because it wouldn't go on easily. So the key came out, and I had that cleaned up real good with emery cloth and oiled everything, slid it back on there to the correct position, and now I'm tightening down these 4 bolts for the final time. And notice I painted the hub and this bearing housing. I don't know if there's a need for that, but just a detail man. And as soon as I get this tightened down, I'm ready to put the wheel on. Well, I got the wheel on and 4 lugs in it. Quite a struggle when you're working by yourself, actually. So I'll put the remaining lugs in there and tighten them down. Take it off the jacks, and I've already put the oil back in. Put my step back on, my newly made step, and we are done with the job. Thanks for watching. Even if you're not a Minneapolis fan, I think maybe you got some information out of this. If you've got the green ones, as you well know, there's a lot more work to do on them than what there is on a Minneapolis. I got both, so I can tease you. This is Tubalcain saying, so long for now.